Okay, so it is the first day with the new Mustang, and as you can see, she's very nervous with me even on the outside of the pen, just simply adjusting the camera to set it on the fence. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to climb inside the pen and stand my ground nice and far to the very furthest corner so that she has room to move around comfortably. And she's just got her eyes locked on. She wants to make sure she has me in front of her. She keeps backing herself as far away as she can, which isn't ideal for her to be in the corner like that. But I'm going to go ahead and step in the pen anyway so she can get accustomed to my presence. So she kind of moves around. She's trying to figure me out, trying to figure out an escape possibly. And I worked on getting her to face up from the outside of the pen just by whenever I would move around and she would move around, if she stops and looks at me, I would back away, just like that. And that just allows her to have a reward, and for her reward is space. She wants to put as much space between her and I as possible, because space to her is safety, because it gives her a head start if she were to run away. So she moves around, and I'm just going to kind of move towards her hip, because I want to encourage her to face up again. So right there, she faces up, not quite. So then I put pressure on her hip again, and this sends her through. And she stepped away right there, tried to find an escape. I'm just going to continue to look at her. Right there, she faced up, and I back away. She thinks about that for a minute. And then she breaks off, and I'm just going to step towards her hip again. And she squirts forward and back. She doesn't want to come to this corner either. And I'm just going to stand here while she's overreacting. Not putting any further pressure on her, but I'm not going to take it away either. When she faces up, then I take away the pressure and I back into the corner. She's not sure what to think. I step in closer. She thinks about going, but faces up, and I take that pressure away. So when she relaxes a little bit, I'll go back in. And this is a patience process. It takes a lot of patience. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to split the video some so you all can have the shorter version of this, because I did do this for hours on end. I did it longer than I actually filmed, but this particular video clip is 45 minutes long. So I'm going to trim this down simply for the sake of convenience as well as the YouTube. So right here I'm going to go in and see how close I can get. So I just take a step slowly, and I'm approaching at kind of an angle to her shoulder, and I'm making sure to assume a rest-like position. So she's locked on me. I'm going to see where her real threshold is. So I step in closer each time, and I'll wait, and right there she bobs her head. That tells me it's too far. You can kind of see her stepping towards me, acting a tad bit chargy. And she mostly, I think she's just curious. She wants to come in, but she also feels threatened because she's backed into a corner. Horses are flee or fight animals. So if you push them into a corner and don't give them an escape, and don't give them a way to flee, then they might fight you. So I'm just going to hold my ground right here because I don't want to take away the pressure when she kind of acts that way. But I also know that if I push any further, I'm pushing into her comfort zone. So she continues to bob her head a little bit, and I just wait. I don't want to create a problem where there hasn't been one formed yet. So then I'm just waiting for her to soften and start to relax. And when she stops kind of acting threatened and starts to settle with my position there, I'll back away and give her the space that she craves. So I'm still just waiting for her to soften. And as you can see, this just takes a ton of patience. And I trim down the most of these so that it seems like it's less waiting, but there really is just a lot of standing around. So there, she kind of looks away. I take that into account, but she's not really relaxed. She raises her head again. She's looking back and forth. There's a lot of things playing into her attitude right now. There is some cats coming in and out of the barn. The diva is in the round pen running around, like a banshee. And then I have my mom sitting behind me, also filming, and my brother's up working on his four-wheeler, making a ton of noise, got the four-wheeler flipped up on its side and power tools going and stuff like that. So it's quite noisy out, and she's trying to take that all into account. And so I'm just waiting for her to get comfortable with this. Anytime she looks away or gets distracted, I'll just kind of shift my weight, and that's usually enough to get her attention. She bobs her head again. She's telling me she's not comfortable, which is why I'm not going any further forward. She sees something over there, and I acknowledge that I see it as well. Right there, she tried to move away, which is fine, but then she faced back up. And she's just testing different positions, and I'm just going to hold my ground. I don't want to chase her around a lot yet, because I don't want to get a fear of me going before I can get a touch on her, which is going to take a little longer. But I'm also not going to let her push me. Under no circumstances will I let my horse tell me where to put my feet. She can be uncomfortable, and she can move away, as she does right here. And I think I actually moved her forward a bit there, because I decided to push her out of that corner, give her a chance to unlock some of that tension she had, and just let her move around the pen. So then I'm seeing if I can draw her in again and get her to face up. So I'm just going to put slight pressure on her hip. And then I back away to kind of try to give her a chance to draw in. And she's back in the corner away from the camera where you can't see her. So she does it, otherwise I would not have held my position. And then she starts to come up and break out of it again. So that's her preferred corner in the back there, and that's where we're gonna end up doing most of our work, because she's got a spot where she feels comfortable and somewhat guarded. Eventually I'd like to get her broken out of there and moved around like she's doing right there. But she's still very scared to approach me. So I'm actually guarding my corner myself right there, so that I'm kind of controlling that. But then I'm gonna allow her to step back into it, because ultimately all I really want right now is for her to face up. Everything else will come later. And there she faces up nicely. She's kind of looking at me, and I decide to give her a break right there and walk away. And again, her rewards are just to walk away. I don't like to turn my back on them when I don't know what they're gonna do, but I can see her reflection in the phone camera because I have it on selfie mode, so that I can make sure I'm getting the horse in the frame. So that's how come I look like I'm just smiling at the camera, because I'm looking at her and I'm smiling at her in the reflection. So then I put pressure back on her again, and I'm going to wait for her to relax a little bit, and I will either take one more step forward or I will give her a step back if I feel like I've hit a threshold where she's not comfortable with me coming any closer. So the goal of this is that her space bubble, her personal space bubble, will get smaller and smaller. I'm going to step one step closer, and if it doesn't pop, I'm just going to hold and maybe step even closer. And so each time I do this, I'll get a little bit closer to the mare until she says no more. And when she says no more, I'll hold my ground until she relaxes and accepts it, and then I'm going to walk away just like that. Repeat this over and over again. I don't like to turn my back on a horse I can't trust, but I can see her in the